Hello, welcome to the channel. Today we're going to be taking a look at a Raxid motorcycle boots. But before we do, roll the credits. Okay, welcome back. Today we're going to be looking at three different styles of boots. We're going to be looking at the casual short boots, the low adventure boots and the high adventure boots. Raxid, not a really well-known name, they're sort of mid-range in price, so the question is, do you get the same functionality and durability and quality as paying for the top brands? Well, we're about to find out. Okay, first boot, the casual boot. As you can see, it's a nice low casual style boot. It's supposed to be waterproof, and it looks like a lot of the other boots that you get from Alpine stores and other top brands. It's a nice looking boot. Okay, so here we have it, the Raxid short casual boot. Now first of all, I'd just like to say that I've bought all these boots myself with my own money. I'm not connected to Raxid in any way or whatsoever. So, what can I say about the Raxid boot? Well, first of all, let's look at the quality. The stitching on the boot seems very good. It's very neat. There's nothing that's been missed out, and there's nothing sticking out as in threads or anything that hasn't been finished correctly. The leather is really nice, thick, it looks quality leather, it doesn't look cheap at all. The carcass of the boot feels very substantial, it's quite stiff. There are ankle protectors both sides, one located here and one located here. There's a good weight to the boot as well. I'm in absolutely no doubt that if I did have an off or a crash, that these would do the job and they would protect your feet and ankles adequately. They say that the boot is waterproof. I've ridden in this boot just on short rides where I've got caught in light rain, and they did keep my feet really dry. As for long, prolonged downpours, I can't say. It isn't really the type of boot that I would wear for long distance touring. It's more of a casual boot, nipping down the shops, nipping across the pub, things like that. Once you've actually got them on, they're very comfortable to wear. Absolutely no problem wearing these all day, walking around town, walking around the shops. You can use them just like another boot. They are heavier than a normal boot, but then again, obviously they have to do the job of protecting your ankle in a crash, so they are constructed a lot more stiffer than a normal average day casual boot. But that is the price you pay for the protection. Inside the boot, they're very padded, they're very plush, absolutely no problems there. The laces come in just standard laces, they don't look anything special. They're just a standard lace that you would get in any boot. Sole wise, there's not much grip. I should imagine if you were wearing them in winter on slidey surfaces you might come a cropper, but all in all, they're a very, very good boot. Are they worth the money? I would say absolutely 100%. Now, these are the first type of casual motorcycle boots that I've ever owned, so I can't compare them like for like with the more expensive brands. But what I can say is, after buying these for the price I paid, would I be tempted to buy one of the more expensive brands? And the answer is definitely no. Because these do everything that I need them to do. They look okay, you can't tell that they're motorcycle boots when you've got them on. They're comfortable, they keep your feet dry and warm, they feel of a good construction, and I am sure they will protect my feet in the event of an accident. So why would I need to pay for, you know, a branded name like, I don't know, Alpine Stars or something like that? All in all, I highly recommend this boot. I think I got this off eBay. Absolutely top drawer. Okay, the second boot, low adventure. Once again, it looks quite durable, it looks good quality, and it's most probably half the price of something you would pay for one of the more well-known brands. But is it up to the same standard? Let's find out. Okay, the Raxid Low Adventure Boot. Now, these boots are my wife's, and let's go through them a little bit by bit. So first of all, the construction. The construction looks really good quality. The leather is really thick and durable, hard. Looks like hard wearing leather. It doesn't look cheap in any way. The boot carcass is quite stiff, as you would expect from a protective boot. They've got ankle protectors on both sides, here and here. The stitching on the boot looks really good quality, and everything is double stitched. The actual clasp buckles, they're like a plastic rubber construction, and although they're not metal, the catches aren't metal, they do feel very sturdy. They don't feel cheap or as though they're going to break easily. So no problems with the actual clasp buckles. The way that the sole is bonded to the leather looks really nice. I can't see any gaps or anything that would let water ingress inside the boot. They have a rubber panel on the top of the toes to help with changing gear and braking, obviously. The sole is a really good chunky grip on there, so you've got no problems if you've got on a slippy surface, whether that be ice or mud. All in all, very good. The boot itself is very stiff, and there is a good weight to it. Inside the boot, again, it's very, very plush, it's very padded, really nice boot for the price. The one thing that I would say about this boot is my wife doesn't like it because she says, one, the weight of it, and two, it doesn't give a lot of feel. So when you've actually got the boots on, because of the thickness of the sole, when you're pressing the back brake, you're not getting a lot of feedback through. And once again, when you're changing gear, it is difficult to feel the feedback through the gear change lever with this boot on. But I suppose that's the price you pay for good protection. You know, I have absolutely no doubt that if you had a crash, this boot would work excellently and protect your ankle and foot. Other than that, it's waterproof. My wife used these when she was doing a training for doing a direct access. She had some long days on the bike in absolute torrential downpours, and they kept her feet nice and dry, no water ingress whatsoever. So are they worth the money? I would say absolutely yes, definitely worth the money. Would I be tempted to change this boot for a better brand? Me personally, if it was me, most probably not. With being more experienced, the feedback through the brake pedals and the gear change pedals isn't that important for me. I prefer to have a real good quality heavy duty boot such as this. She says that they're very comfy when you're riding and walking around. Even though they are quite stiff, they've got this flexible panel in the back of the heel, so it gives good ankle movement when you're actually walking and when you're sitting on the bike. So no, I wouldn't be tempted to spend more. With this boot, I think you're getting good value for money, and it does what it says on the tin. Okay, the third boot, the High Adventure. Again, it is very, very similar to some of the other brands out there. I'm going to compare it to the former boot, and I will show you the comparisons and just how similar this boot is. However, once again, this is half the price of the former boot. But does it give the same product quality and functionality? Let's find out. Okay, so the third boot in the series is the High Adventure Boot. Now, I've got two different brands here. I've got the Raxid brand here, and I've got the former Adventure Boot here. I can't stress how similar these two boots are. I'm not saying they're an exact copy, but if you look at the panelling, you know, exactly the same, virtually the same. virtually the same, virtually the same. Every panel for panel, the set out of these two boots is virtually the same. There are differences, obviously, because this is half the price of the former boot. This former boot, I had this one for approximately 10 years, and I would say for 8 good years they were totally waterproof in any sort of conditions. I did have to replace them because eventually, I don't know if you can see, but the stitching started to come apart and they did start letting water in. But yeah, I mean, if you've got the money, these boots, 10 years out of them, absolutely amazing. Okay, so what are the main differences with this boot? Well, the sole is slightly different for a start. The clamps, the buckle straps, they don't seem as good quality as on the former boot. However, you know, like the other boots that we've already seen, although it is a plastic construction buckle strap, they do feel very durable. They don't feel as though they're going to break, so I wouldn't be too concerned about that. So let's go through the construction of the boot. Once again, made of the same leather as the low boots, and the leather is really thick. It looks good quality, durable, tough leather. Once again, the stitching is absolutely fine. I can't really fault the stitching in any way. It does look good quality. Just the same as the other boot, it's got this flexible panel at the back which makes the boot very comfortable to wear. Again, ankle protectors on both sides of the ankle. The one thing that I will say about this boot is, compared to the former boot, I actually found this boot a lot more comfortable to wear. I don't know whether it's just me, but you know, everybody's got a different shaped limbs, but the former boot, after wearing it and walking around in it all day, it used to rub the back of my heel, whereas this one doesn't. The sizing of this boot, the other boots that we've looked at were absolutely spot on with the sizing. However, this one seems a bit big. You know, this, I take a size 9 and this is a size 9 boot, and it almost feels like a 10. And I think that is because the toe on this boot is quite pointed and round. When you compare the two toes, this one's quite flat. So I'd be tempted to try a size below what you normally wear and just see how you go on with it. The sole of the boot, again, very rugged sole, very good grip on slippy surfaces such as mud and wet grass. Inside the boot, extremely plush. That is so padded. It's one of the most padded boots I've ever owned. Extremely comfy. Weight wise, it's not too bad. You know, you compare it with the short casual boot and the low adventure boot, and I would say this is actually lighter than the casual boot, most probably the same weight as the low boot, so I don't know how they've done that. The biggest problem with this boot is it's supposed to be waterproof. Well, I can tell you it's not waterproof. It's not even waterproof in light rain. I think it's to do with how the sole is bonded to the leather. It seems to be the same construction as the low boot, but when I look in places where the panels fit, I can see small gaps, and I think water is ingressing inside the boot. So, on the whole, how would I score this boot? Well, for construction, as in protection, I would give it a 10. You know, it's real good quality leather. The carcass is stiff. There's, you know, it feels a substantial boot. It comes quite high up the leg, just to below the knee. And I think that this would do the job, and it would definitely protect you in a crash. Comfort-wise, I would give it a 10. It's really comfortable. You can wear these all day, walk around town, and you can do anything you want in these boots, and they are, you know, nice and warm, nice and soft and comfortable to walk around in. And although it's a stiff construction, they've got the right flex in the right places for your ankle, so they don't rub your heels or anything when you're walking around. The downside is, you know, it's advertised as a waterproof boot, and it's just not waterproof at all. So would I be tempted to buy a more expensive boot? Well, the answer is yes. These are a good alternative if you haven't got a lot of money and you need a good quality boot and you're not bothered about the waterproof side of it. I mean, I carry Oxford over boots anyway, and you know, if it starts raining I could just pop them on over the top of the boot. But it is a faff. But you know, if you haven't got a lot of money to spend on high quality boots, then yeah, definitely give these a go. There's not much else I can really say about the boot. I was disappointed because, you know, I bought the casual boots and the low adventure boots, and they were really good quality for the amount of money, and I feel a bit disappointed in these boots. Perhaps it's just a one-off pair that aren't very good, you know, you do get it, but it definitely lets water in. So, on the whole, how would I score these boots? I'd most probably score them a 7 out of 10, simply because they're not waterproof. So, to sum up, have we answered the question? Are mid-range boots just as good as the top of the range boots? Well, yes and no. In some cases, such as the low casual boots, yeah, I think you can get away with spending a little less money. They do just as good a job, they're comfy, they look just as good. So yeah, definitely I would choose mid-range over top brand names with the lower boots. However, with the tall adventure boots, definitely no. My advice is buy the best boot you can afford. The thing with that type of boot, you tend to use them for very long days in the saddle, touring, a lot of adverse weather conditions, so they do have to perform well for that type of boot, and you're just not getting the functionality or the quality with the mid-range boot. So with that in mind, I have gone out and I have bought a new pair of boots, and I've bought these, the Revit Discovery H2O. They're brand new, they still have the tags on, I haven't tried them out yet, but check out the channel. I'm going to be doing an unboxing and a review of the boot, and then hopefully later on, after I've put a few miles on the clock with these boots, I will be giving you a good functionality review as well. So thank you for watching the channel, thanks for everybody who's subscribed, and all that's left to say is, Rider Reviews out, ride safe everybody.